It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, November 13th. And whoa, do we have a show for you guys today? Today is a show that almost brings me back to like January, February of this year. And for those of you that have been around since the very beginning of this court case, you're going to want to stick around. You're definitely going to want to be here for today's show. It's going to be a little bit messy. I have to be honest. It's going to be a little bit all over the place because late last night, we got thrown a crazy amount of documents on the court docket for It Ends With Us because it was the deadline, as we talked about yesterday. It was the deadline for the motion summary of judgments. It was crazy, and so much paperwork, so many documents, so much evidence was thrown at us. And I would love to say like, oh, we can just skip over it, but we can't. We have to come and go through not all of it. We can't. We would be here all day. And like, I literally can't. I wish I could. I would sit here with you guys all day and all night, as a lot of you guys did in the middle of the night with our girls. I know Elsie and Lauren, I was up late at night watching them until I was like literally dozing off, and I'm on West Coast time. But I wake up at 4 a.m. and I woke up this morning and I looked and Elsie was still on TikTok. I was like, oh, girl, what? So much came out. I'm going to do my best to summarize and also just give you a little bit of just my overall take on, not of course like the legalities of so much, but just the general vibe and energy of what I think is happening here, which is going to like really summarize what I think is ultimately what this is, which should be the title of the movie, of the lawsuit of Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni, which is every accusation is a confession. And I've said this so many times throughout this court case. I've said it if you go through my videos from the very beginning. I truly believe that Blake Lively is completely projecting every single time that she says anything, not just Blake, but Ryan as well. It's the craziest experience. Every time she calls him something, every time she says anything about him, it's because she herself is doing it. And we're seeing it play out in real time. It's wild. We will get into it. I want to talk about other things. I don't know if we should. I honestly don't know if we should. I feel like this is the story of the day. I think I'll just jump into a couple of things, like just little hot topics, like for 5-10 minutes at the very beginning. But if you're not into the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni case, if you don't want to see justice for Justin and Wayfarer and the rest of honestly, the women other than the Wayfarer team, women, Jen Abel, Melissa Nathan, and also all the family members that have just been decimated by, in my eyes, the biggest bullies in Hollywood, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, this show will not be for you. For everyone else that has been sticking it out and wants to see justice, make sure to subscribe and hit the like button. This is your daily dose of Donna. Thank you so much for being here, you guys. Such great momentum on the show this week. It's so fun how things go on Daily Dose of Donna, or just in general when you're creating content, when you're in the podcast or YouTube space. Like, it goes through ups, it goes through downs, but the show is just doing so phenomenal, and I'm about to hit another milestone in subscribers. You guys are killing it. You guys are killing it with the Apple reviews and the Spotify reviews and the 5-star rating. So keep it up. I so appreciate it. I see them all. I'm getting reviews from New Zealand. I'm getting reviews from Australia. I'm getting reviews from England. I got a review this morning from Israel. What? I love it. Thank you so much, all of you guys from all around the world. I appreciate it. As always, you guys, please keep on going and support the show. It means everything to me. As you guys know, I'm like planning my second wedding on Saturday night. I mean, it's not really about me, but it's about me. It's my son's bar mitzvah. So I'm like, my brain is so all over the place. And then this happens. Excuse me, guys, can you just check my schedule next time that you decide to throw 5,000 documents on the docket? For real? For real? Today is my son Dylan's 13th birthday. Actually, today, I officially have a teenager. I don't know what that means, why he has been a sassy teen for the last 2 years. I don't know why today he's officially a teenager because I feel like, honestly, he's been a teenager since he was born, but whatever. It is really, I'm so grateful for my little boy. He's a sweet little boy. So shout out to little Dylan. I'm going to embarrass him now and show a little baby picture of Dylan 13 years ago. 13 years ago. This is just a screenshot. That's why it says November 12th, 2025. How cute was he? My little DD. Oh, Dylan. And then this was us. I made him take a picture with me this morning in carpool, like at the bus line. He was like, "Mama, you're so embarrassing. People are looking." I'm like, "No one is looking. No one cares." He thinks everyone's always looking. I'm like, "No one's looking." Meanwhile, I'm showing it to the entire audience here. This is us this morning in the bus line. Little Dylan, not so little, 13 years old. My goodness, so exciting. All right, Dylan. I really hope you never, ever go to work one day and just try to do your best on a creative project and come along the likes of someone like Blake Lively. And I say that to a man or a woman because truly it's not about gender. It's about meeting the wrong person at the wrong time who will truly upend your life and like truly ruin everything for you. And that's really what this game is about, what this story is about. It's about a story of a man who may not be perfect. Like, this is not about Justin Baldoni being a perfect human being. I don't idolize Justin. I don't know Justin. I've met him before. I've talked about that openly. I have met him before. I met him briefly in 2006 or 7, but I don't know anything from him. In fact, he was just like an actor. And, as a former person that used to be in casting, a casting director, I truly did not care that much for actors. I'm just being honest. The acting vibe is like a little annoying to me. Sorry, actors. It's like it's a little on, it's a little showy, it's a little like, me, me, me. So like actors, not all are that way, but a lot of them are. So just like actors are actors. So I'm not like sitting here saying Justin is this god. I didn't know anything about him really. But going into this case, you start to look at just from a zoomed out perspective, you have a man who was just trying to create something. That's it. He was just trying to create a passion project. Of course, it was a business. It ends with us as a business. He found a book, and I wrote about it this morning on Instagram, and I got some pushback by calling Colleen Hoover an unknown author. But in reality, in the world of books, maybe she was a known author in 2018 when he connected with her. But in the world of life, I didn't know who Colleen Hoover was in 2018. I think the only people that really knew who Colleen Hoover were in 2018 are like book talk, book people. But really, the world didn't know who Colleen Hoover was, in my opinion. And so people really only jumped into the Colleen obsession, in my opinion, as someone that likes to read in 2020 during COVID, when It Ends With Us became the book to read on Book Talk. And Book Talk is BOOKTOK, right? And so Justin had reached out to Colleen prior to her becoming the viral author. He reaches out to her and says, "Hey, my production company Wayfarer really wants to connect with you and create this book because I connected to the message of domestic violence." So they start creating this connection, this friendship, and they start really like developing this partnership. They write together and they go back and forth and they develop the script. And then somehow at some point they sell it to Sony. I don't know exactly the timeline in the pre-production stage, but then they develop this book. They attach a screenwriter, Christy Hall, and then I believe her last name is Hall. I don't want to say it wrong, but I feel like it's Hall off the top of my head. I'm working off no notes. And then all of a sudden, guess what? They find B-list actress Blake Lively. And Blake Lively doesn't take a lot of roles. According to Ryan Reynolds, she's passing on all the roles. So I don't know about this whole, like, that she's lost all these wages. I don't think she's lost many wages at all. According to Ryan Reynolds, she passes on everything. She's passing on roles left and right, left and right, left and right. And so she somehow, maybe she saw a picture of Justin, decides, this is the movie I want to do. I want to be a Lily Bloom. So Ryan Reynolds says, I will tattoo your first AD's face on my perineum. Don't forget those words. This is how we really started this journey. I will tattoo the first AD's face on my ass taint. Don't forget where this all started. If you can work around my wife's schedule. All right? If you can work around my wife's schedule, I will do anything for you. By anything, he means I will ruin your life. If only we knew. I wish more than anything Justin said, whoa, 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 dude, that was too much. This ain't going to work. So then she ends up getting the job, comes on in, and Justin is like, we've hit gold. We hit the lottery here. I'm working on my passion project. I'm working with a beautiful, talented actress. I have Ryan Reynolds in my text messages. Like, this is the dream. And she slowly, not even slowly, takes over the film. And then, as we know, the rest is history. The story that the world, including people like B Green 8961 in my comments right now that says, why do you have it out for Blake? I can't listen to you anymore. Just let it go. Have been told a story that Blake is the victim. That Blake is the victim and Blake and Ryan are the victims, right? Of this horrible, horrible campaign from Justin. Justin is the abuser, is what the world has been told. The world has been told that Justin is this harasser, this abuser, this attacker, and that his partner, Jamie Heath, also showed porn and stared at her while she was breastfeeding. And he was this dirty, gross guy. And they said the word sexy and they talked about sex and it was harassment and bad set. And then their financier, Steve Sarowitz is also talking about death and I will ruin them and when Hamas and Israel and this is just bad. They're bad, bad, bad. And Blake is the victim. Leave her alone. Leave Blake alone. But what if you guys, and I'm not talking about you guys, of course, because I think you guys understand, but I'm talking about people like B Green 8961. What if you have been sold the wrong story? What if you guys have the story all wrong? And actually, Blake and Ryan are the abusers. And Justin and Wayfarer and his PR team, and I'm not talking about Stephanie Jones, I'm talking about Jen Abel and Melissa Nathan and Jamie Heath, Steve Sarowitz, and all of them, what if they are the victims of one of the most egregious, insane smear campaigns I have ever seen play out in real time? And you're all falling for it. And it involves TMZ, and it involves Deadline, and it involves Page Six, and it involves Daily Mail, and it involves Taylor Lorenz, and it involves commenters like that, and it involves content creators and misogyny slop, and it involves even doctors and lawyers online who are DMing content creators like me to get involved and to spread the smear. But the whole time, they're blaming Justin and his team as the official creators of the smear campaign. What if every single thing that they're saying Justin did, they've been doing the whole time? What if they actually have been saying all the sexual comments the entire time? Weird, right? Weird. So, on today's episode of Daily Dose of Donna, we are going to go through a few of the documents that came out last night, including some of the brand new, spanking new cut footage from the film, behind the scenes footage of Blake Lively using the word sexy. In fact, if that is a sexual harassment word, and Justin Baldoni sexually harassed Blake Lively by using the word sexy, then I would go as far as to say that Blake Lively sexually harassed an entire crew on the set of It Ends With Us. Blake Lively also kissed Justin Baldoni in an unscripted kiss on a scene. Blake Lively was part of a lot of really horrendous things, including verbally abusing with Ryan Reynolds, Justin Baldoni in a meeting in a Tribeca penthouse in front of 2 celebrity friends and Taylor Swift. Oh, Taylor, why'd you have to get so involved and then say you weren't involved at all? I almost liked you, Taylor. I almost liked you. Oh, Taylor. Hollywood sucks. If I were Justin, I would win this case and I would get the fuck out. I would never, ever, ever want to work in this disgusting industry again. These people are sick. All of them. Let's get into the show. But because we have, B Green 896132, I'm obsessed with Blake 61. I want to remind you guys that it is important to talk to a therapist. And there are sources out there for people that need telehealth, like Rula. So if you are in some sort of mental distress and you do need telehealth, it is important. And telehealth has made mental health care more convenient and accessible for millions of people. However, critical challenges like finding a suitable therapist, scheduling appointments, and the expensive out-of-pocket cost still keep many from getting the care that they need. Rula is on a mission to make high-quality mental health care from a licensed professional easy and affordable for everyone. Rula's got you covered. They take most major insurance plans, and the average copay is only $15 per session. You can now get the quality care you need when you need it at a price you can afford. Rula isn't just affordable. They stick with you throughout your journey, making sure you get the best therapy and that you're making progress. With Rula, every provider is carefully vetted and chosen for their expertise. You'll always know you're in the hands of quality providers who are dedicated to making real progress in your care. The first step on your journey to mental well-being is easy. Rula starts by asking you a few questions about what's important to you and then provides a list of licensed in-network providers who match your preferences. You can schedule your preferred time and meet with your therapist as soon as the next day. So all you have to do is go to rula.com/dailydose. That's one word to get started today. That's RULA.com/dailydose for convenient therapy that's covered by insurance. Okay, just never forget that my mom had absolutely no idea who Blake Lively was. Just remember that. Thanks, Rula. Okay. All right. So last night, like I said, everyone was starting to drop documents. I'm 900 years old, so I passed out early. Uh, I tried to stay up. I couldn't. But I have some really great sources online. Thank God for some other content creators that went through everything and broke it out. I wanted to shout out to some of the amazing ones that did it. On Instagram, of course, we have It Ends With Lawsuits. We have Justice for I want to make sure I'm getting everyone right while I'm doing this. On Instagram, you guys have to follow. It Ends With Lawsuits is a great one. We have, oh my God, I can't wait to get into Leslie Dobson in just a second. I have such a story about her. We have Justice for Justin B is a great one. And we have team_Justin Baldoni. Those are 3 great Instagram accounts that you should be following for constant updates. And then, of course, the content creators like Elsie and Lauren and Zach and Andy, like those are great people. There's always good people that are constantly posting always about this case. And I love it, love it, love it because they help us. And on X, there's always some really great people that are posting Bushbirds. Like everyone is always posting. And if I'm forgetting, CJ, citizen journalist, like Bocce over on TikTok. I know I'm forgetting people. So please, 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 if I forget people, don't hurt don't get mad at me. But Shatao, and if I'm saying it wrong, I am so sorry. But this guy, Shatao, he only has 600 something followers on X. He should not. He should have more because this guy is constantly fighting for Justin Baldoni. And I don't know who he is. I don't know where he's come from, but I absolutely, that's Dylan and I. That's from before. I absolutely adore his like arguments and his fight, and I think he does a really great job. So he is SCHATOW on X. If you guys follow him. He's in England, you think? I don't know. Gwen says he's in England. I don't know where he is, but I was messaging with him this morning and I was like, I'm going to shout you out on my show today because he's definitely he's read through like so many documents. He pulled out great pieces. So I'm going to go through some of his pieces. He also is sharing a bunch of Not Actually Golden's videos. So Not Actually Golden is, the amazing attorney that I always talk about on the show. She did a 5-part series, like 50 minutes because they're 10 minutes each. 50 minutes. Oh, he's in Denmark. Thank you. You guys are all one of you guys are saying he's in France, he's in Denmark. Okay, but Laura's good friends with him. He's in Denmark. Laura, tell him I love him. Okay, not like that. Okay? I don't want him to come after me for harassment. I like him as a person. I like him as a source and a friend. I love you, Lance Bowling. Okay. So Not Actually Golden breaks down the actual summary of the motion for summary judgment. I'm saying that wrong probably. It's 50 minutes long because it's a 5-part on TikTok or YouTube. It's 5 parts. You can listen to it on like 1.5 speed. And I listened to it all. That's very, very long. We won't go through that. What I find fascinating, and that's the final motion where they go through all the arguments of why this case should be dismissed, basically. Why this case needs to just be dropped, essentially. But what I find fascinating are the other things that are found in last night's documents. So basically, what I want to do here, okay, I'm trying to think the best way to do this. There's so much. On Reddit, on It Ends With Lawsuits, they say that the best the Reddit It Ends With Lawsuits is a great Reddit to look at. But the best thing to look at is document 56.1, which is the statement of undisputed facts. And it's 80 pages of receipts. It has emails. Now I feel like I'm Heather on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It has emails, texts, screenshots, videos, everything. Okay. It has everything. And there's a lot in it, okay? So what I'll do is I'll kind of like not slowly. I'm going to try to do everything I can to get through as fast as I can with it, but there's no way we can do it all, you guys. I don't want to be here all day and neither do you. But I'm going to try to do everything I can to get through it. It goes through essentially, and I'm going to make it bigger so you guys can see it. It goes through the undisputed facts is what basically they're calling it. Timelines, basically. Okay. This document should be enough to kind of ruin her case completely. The memo in support of this is essentially saying that she has absolutely, according to all of this evidence, she has no evidence. Her timelines don't match anything. And all of her stories are contradicting. In addition, and this is very essential, and we'll get through it when we go through all this work. This is very important, you guys. She There were never any HR documents filed. And I want to get into that in just a second, because not in a second, I will at the end when I talk about Dr. Leslie Dobson, because this is what I think was a huge part of this smear campaign against Justin Baldoni. This is just my opinion, but I think so. So it talks about how, Justin Baldoni wrote these books. Remember, she brought up his books in her complaint. And then it says in February 2019, he met Colleen. Um, it says that they talked about how the book should be a film. In September 2022, they partnered with No More. They talked about how a portion of the film's proceeds should go to No More. They talked about establishing a separate entity for each. This is like a financial issue about bank accounts and funds. This is kind of, not super important, but it is kind of important for the financials of the film. It says beyond providing some financing, Sarowitz was not involved in the production of the film. Before Blake joined the production, filming was set to begin in 2023 under Baldoni's directions. Now, this is important. It says Blake Lively committed to a role with adult and sexual themes. That's very important. Had Blake not committed to this movie or written this movie as written, it would be a very different story if they just completely changed it on her. Like if they started this movie as a PG movie and then all of a sudden it turned into a rated R, I think it's very different. But they started this movie and it ended as a sexual, like adult movie. It says she decided to play the movie. She decided to do the movie end of December 2022. It says she's excited to do the film. She's going to play Lily Bloom. Offer letter. Okay. No long form agreement was ever executed by the parties. You guys remember, she never signed a contract. It says before accepting the role, her agent looked at the script. The script Lively reviewed included scenes of sexual intimacy, intimate partner violence, and attempted sexual assault. She worked to revise the script before filming began. Her written work product included frank sexual language and overtly sexual themes. She looked at the script and she revised it to change it and add even more of the sexual stuff, okay? Then it says on May 5th, 2023, Baldoni sent Lively some notes on the script from Sony executive Angie Giannetti, who wanted the scenes to involve more than just verbal interplay. So now we have Sony getting involved. Sony is Angie Giannetti. Sony has told us, or I'm sorry, Sony now is being involved as having to wanting the film or the stars to be a little bit more than just verbal. Wait, are you telling me Sony is asking them to be a little bit more physical? Huh. Well, that's weird. Lively immediately exercised substantial influence over the development and shooting of the film. Remember that? We talked about the costumes already, but did you guys know that at Lively's request, Wayfarer agreed to abandon its intended filming location? It was supposed to be shot in Boston, where Colleen Hoover wrote the book. But they changed it to New Jersey to accommodate Blake. They completely revised the location after she agreed to do the film and signed on for her. Okay, Wayfarer also agreed to adjust the filming schedule to accommodate Lively. So this girl was running the damn show. In February 2023, she asked if the start of shooting could be pushed back because of her physical appearance. She had concerns. Baldoni made a comment that Lively must feel blank after resolving a personal dilemma, and then Lively responded blank. Baldoni disliked Lively's self-deprecating joke. Okay, so they were making jokes about about her appearance. He kind of said something, and she said a joke about herself, and he didn't like that she was joking about herself. On February 17th, Lively asked Baldoni blank, we don't know, and Baldoni responded blank. I mean, we don't know. But clearly, they're having a fun back and forth. The same day, Lively told her agent at WME, we don't know. It's all redacted. It's so annoying. Okay, let's go past this. Now, Lively has since disclosed that her husband, Ryan Reynolds, actually wrote the revisions to the rooftop scene that she proposed. Interesting. Now it's talking about how Wayfair had a set of industry standard policies and procedures in place to prevent harassment, discrimination, and retaliation in the Wayfair Employee Handbook. Wayfair also has a complaint process to address alleged instances of harassment, discrimination, and retaliation. They also have a human resource department headed by Cynthia Barnes Slater. Wayfair employees are required to participate in workplace harassment training. Lively was under no obligation to engage in any nude or simulated sex scenes without her consent. The offer letter provided that Lively would not perform any nudity or stimulated sex without her prior written consent and negotiation or execution of a formal nudity rider. In April, before filming began, It Ends With Us hired Elizabeth Talbot to serve as the intimacy coordinator. Baldoni then reported to the production team, Lively doesn't want to meet with the intimacy coordinator, but I can still meet with her. And Alex, one of the producers, said, that's fine. You'll just have to walk her through. We know this, right? On May, the intimacy coordinator considered the content of anticipated intimate scenes and suggested details and clarifications to both Baldoni and Heath, while expressing concern that the scenes were becoming too PG-13 as compared to the more explicit scenes in the book. Baldoni suggested that the intimacy coordinator discuss with Blake whether there were other ways of implying nudity that she would consider as to not disappoint readers, while also expressing sensitivity for Lively's boundaries. The intimacy coordinator agreed to have any necessary conversations to get clarity for the scene so both of them are confident about the level of contact during the scenes. So everyone seemed to be completely up to snuff with the intimacy coordinator about all of the conversations about the sex scenes. They were provided with nudity writers about their intimacy scenes, it looks like. On May 5th, they had a respect in the workplace preventing discriminatory harassment and retaliation meeting. It was held by a lawyer, a law firm. Heath and Baldoni both attended and completed the training. Wayfair distributed a crew list to everyone. All cast and crew got call sheets, which included a hotline number for workplace complaints with sexual harassment that directed them to a third-party organization to assist with any complaints. Happens to every single person on every call sheet. Lance gets a call sheet for every show he's on. There's always phone numbers that you can call. There's always like, in case of complaints, call this person. If you have issues with this, call this person. Got it? It says no intimate scenes involving Lively were shot in the first phase of filming. We know this. And then on May 22nd, a scene in which she gives birth was filmed. She claims the birthing scene was intimate because there was implied nudity, but footage shows Lively was covered with a hospital gown and a prosthetic pregnancy belly. On June 11th, that's my birthday, before the young Lily and young Atlas intimate scene was filmed, but Baldoni flagged to the production team that they would need to coordinate and work with the intimacy coordinator. Farrer also wrote to Baldoni to thank him for an incredible experience on the set. Remember that. She wrote to him, oh my God, it was so amazing. You're so smart. I'm so safe. So all of these incidents that she raised occurred before or during the first phase of the filming. She came out with a second amended complaint and deposition, and she said all of the bad things that happened during this first phase. But it sounds like she had no sexual scenes, and the only somewhat intimate scene was that birthing scene. So they have that initial meeting. Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, wrote to Baldoni, and we can't see it, unfortunately. And then we're talking about the private inquiry about Lively's wait for a scene. It says on or about April 23rd, outside the workplace, outside the presence of any Wayfarer Studios or It Ends With Us employee, Baldoni privately asked a personal trainer, that's Don Saladino, what Lively would weigh when filming began. Baldoni, who suffers from chronic back issues, asked in anticipation of a scene which he was expected to lift her. Okay, we know all this. The trainer on his own, remember, Justin Baldoni did this on his own to the trainer in front of no one. The fact that this fucking trainer went out of his way to throw Justin Baldoni under the bus to his freaking obsession, like kiss the crown that they walk on, kiss their feet, just Ryan and Blake. Ryan, Blake, I need to tell you something. Justin Baldoni asked what your weight is. I bet Ryan was like, what did Justin say? What is, if he ever mentions Blake's name in a meeting, you have to come and tell me. It's so gross. So the trainer on his own went to Blake Lively and said it. And then on April 25th, Justin Baldoni met with Blake Lively at her apartment. Lively's husband, Ryan Reynolds, and two other famous friends were there. Who do you think? Reynolds chastised Baldoni for commenting on a woman's weight. Lively subsequently described the meeting to a friend as follows. Of course, it's redacted, so we don't even know what it is, but she probably made him feel like shit. She alleged that Baldoni shamed Lively for her body and weight by offering to connect her with a specialist in probiotics after Lively caught strep throat because Lively alleges the expert was instead a weight loss specialist. Lively has not offered any admissible evidence supporting that claim. She did not discuss it during her deposition. She has not produced any documentary evidence indicating that the expert was a weight loss specialist. Documentary evidence shows that Baldoni discussed Lively's illness with the specialist and not her weight. If you don't remember, we saw those text messages. He's like, oh no, you keep getting strep throat. Let me send you to a doctor. She can give you probiotics. This bee goes online and sees, oh my God, the doctor one time helped someone with her weight. She's a weight loss specialist. Baldoni is trying to tell me that I'm fat. This girl is a kooky, okay? The addition of sex scenes to the script, it says in late April 2023, before filming began, Sony executive, once again, little Angie, comes in here and encourages Baldoni to shoot an R-rated film to reflect the content of the book. Oh, thanks, Sony. You're throwing Justin under the bus again. In April 28th, she says, I will update Sony. You're going to try and get as much tasteful, hot sex as you can. Okay? Tasteful hot sex. You find out if we're PG-13. Will Colleen be okay? And does she think her readers will be okay? Baldoni discussed Giannetti and Sony's suggestion about additional and more explicit sex scenes with Lively and Colleen Hoover. So he did go to Blake Lively and Colleen Hoover. On May 4th, Baldoni worked with Elizabeth Talbot, the film's intimacy coordinator, to add specifics to the intimate scenes. He suggested Elizabeth Talbot discuss the scenes with Lively to determine how to portray more sexual intimacy in a manner consistent with Lively's personal boundaries and preferences. Such discussion took place in the context of planning and choreographing a sex scene. Lively first volunteered her own personal experience before Baldoni shared his. Baldoni has publicly discussed his prior addiction to pornography on his podcast, which is aimed at male audiences, and in his published books. So Lively first volunteered her own personal experience about sex before Justin shared his. But now Justin is the sexual predator? That's like me talking to my friends and saying like, oh my God, I need to tell you guys about when I lost my virginity. And then them saying, oh my God, I need to tell you about when I lost mine. And then me going after them and being like, I can't believe they talked to me about sex. Like, that's sick. Sick. Now we're talking about when they go into, Jamie Heath goes into her makeup trailer and it says she was getting her makeup removed. They just had a brief conversation. He had been asking to schedule a meeting with all of them after several failed attempts. And he knocked, She said, "Come in." She asked him to turn around and he did. Okay. He said, "I saw that she was leaned back. She looked what I thought was either maybe breastfeeding or nursing. I said to her, 'Oh, it looks like you're busy. I can come back.' As I turned around, she says, 'No, that's okay. You can come in. Just look away.'" And I said, "Sure." 2 weeks after the incident occurred and months before the litigation arose, Lively raised the incident with Heath for the first time. She told Heath, "I asked you to look away, and at some point you made eye contact with me. I'm not saying you were trying to cop a look. I'm just saying that I had asked you to turn away and you made eye contact with me." What a bitch. While shooting the birthing scene, Lively was wearing a hospital gown, a prosthetic belly, and fabric over her genitals. She also was, mad at the doctor who we know is a local union actor and an actual actor, not just some random friend that she was trying to say he was. She is alleged that Steve Sarowitz was present on the set. Steve Sarowitz testified he was not on the set. He arrived later after the scene was filmed. He has only visited the set twice. He visited briefly for one part of one day and just a few minutes on another day, which happened to be the day the birthing scene was shot. Steve Sarowitz later spoke to Adam Monshine, who was the doctor on that set. Monshine did not raise anything negative about his experience on set, and he shared a positive experience. He confirmed that Sarowitz was not on set during the filming of the scene. Sarowitz did not know what scenes were being filmed at any given time, and he made no conscious decision to see Lively in a particular scene while shooting. It's not all about you, girl. You probably think this song is about you, don't you? Don't you? Oh. Sarowitz didn't even know that the birthing scene was being shot on the day that it was being shot. During his first visit on the set, he spoke to Brandon Sklenar. Sklenar was effusive in his praise for Baldoni, his directing, Wayfarer, and how he had been treated in general. During that first visit, Sarowitz also spoke to Blake Lively for a minute or two. It was a friendly meeting, and she didn't voice any complaints. So it seems like everyone seems really friendly around Sarowitz. No one's giving him a hard time, and no one's saying like, "Oh God, thank God you're here, Sarowitz, because this is a really bad set." They were a really bad set. No one's saying anything like that. Now, this is the sexy comment. On or about May 18th, Baldoni commented that actor Jenny Slate looked sexy in her character's wardrobe, which included black leather pants. God for fucking bed, right? Please come and tell me I look sexy. I'm just saying. He made this comment in the presence of others during the course of their work on the film. On May 23rd, which is about 5 days later, Lively testified that blank. We don't know. Video footage of the incident shows Lively was fully dressed in an oversized fleece onesie at the time, that numerous actors and crew were also present and engaged in ongoing work at the time, and that Baldoni's facial expression was neutral and not ogling or suggestive, and that after Baldoni apologized if his remark was inappropriate, Lively responded by saying, "All good." There's video of it. And then, of course, it's the wife's home birth, Jamie Heath's wife's home birth. We've talked about it so many times, but he says, "I showed her a video depicting our midwife, my sister, my kids, my wife, myself, our newborn baby. I believe we were singing or praying. Heath and his wife were in a birthing tub with the baby who was covered in a towel." Now, here's some other comments. Lively also alleges that during the first phase of filming, while riding in a car with Lively, her assistant, and her driver, do you remember this one? Baldoni stated he had not always obtained consent before sex. Baldoni was not questioned about this incident during 2 days of depositions. So, in her original complaint, she talked about this car ride. Remember this whole car ride where Justin Baldoni talked about his whole sexual life and how he had been basically taken advantage by this woman? We were like, "Oh, this driver is getting deposed." Never brought up, never deposed about it. And the driver was never deposed either. So I think that that was just a big old lie. Baldoni um, wrote about this experience in his published books and discussed it in public talks. So I think she just pulled it from one of his books and said he said it to me on set. It's insane. Lively's subsequent conduct confirms Baldoni's account. In her protections demand, she objected to Baldoni referring to blank. Here's when she gets COVID. They contracted COVID. Other cast members also got COVID. She included her COVID exposure in her list of incidents that required protections. And then it says Lively and another actor's concerns, I'm assuming that's Jenny Slate, are promptly addressed before the first phase of filming concludes. An email on the same day, Lively at da 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 da. In that email, before the first set of filming concludes, no one mentioned sexual harassment, discrimination, or any accusation that made any conduct rising to that level. Got it? So filming ends for the first phase, and she does not file a formal sexual harassment complaint with Wayfair, with Sony, with HR, with anyone. Sony confirms it. Wayfair confirms it. No one has an HR complaint. On June 1st, Blake Lively brings in Baldoni, Heath, and producer Alex Sachs into her trailer. They discuss various topics, including Baldoni's comment that the wardrobe for Lively's character looked sexy or hot. Heath showing Lively an image of his wife around the time she gave birth. An instance in which Heath enters her makeup trailer while Lively was in a state of undress. An instance in which Baldoni had cried in her trailer over the negative public reaction to Lively's casting. And Heath and Baldoni's practice of hugging other cast and crew members. Baldoni and Heath attempted to explain the innocent context and apologize for any discomfort Lively may have experienced. Remember all the toxic positivity. How dare they be toxic and positive, right? On May 30th, Baldoni wrote messages to Lively and Jenny Slate separately, thanking them for their work and stating, I was made fully aware of your concerns. I wanted you to know that they are fully received. Remember, the concerns are, well, for Jenny Slate, it's that he called her sexy in her outfit in front of crew. For Blake Lively, it's that he said her onesie, her fleece onesie was sexy and that he hugged her. And that Jamie Heath walked in while she was breastfeeding and looked at her in the eyes for a brief second and showed her. This is insane. He says, I was lmade fully aware of your concerns. I wanted you to know that they are fully received. I hear you, and adjustments will be made accordingly. I appreciate your feedback and really looking forward to working with you at the end of the week. Neither Lively nor anyone she has identified any other incidents that they may have believed have constituted sexual harassment or discrimination after that June 1st date. Sarowitz has no firsthand knowledge of anyone else advising Baldoni that any behavior was unwelcome. Sarowitz was unaware of any formal HR complaints or SAG complaints or reported allegations of misconduct or actual behavior on set that could be described as sexual advances or requests for sexual favors, verbal abuse, da, 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 da. No one is aware of any complaints. Sarowitz was aware that Jenny Slate had a concern on set at one point, but he was not aware of the specifics of the issue and he believed it was resolved. Sarowitz has never talked to Slate or met her. How we doing, guys? How we doing? I want to look at the comments. I haven't looked at the comments. Are we okay? Everyone, tell me how we feeling. Make sure to hit subscribe and like if you guys are new here. Hi, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. We're getting through it as fast as I can. It says during the filming hiatus, Lively announced the list of protections. Remember, it was all she had talked to her agent. She was sitting at home during hiatus, probably getting gassed up by Jenny Slate, by her manager, by her agent, by all her yes people, and by her husband. She writes to her agent. She's still not filing over 2 months. She's still not filing an HR complaint. Remember that. Okay? No HR complaint. On November 9th. This is still during the hiatus because of the strike. Her attorney sent the vice president of business and legal affairs at Wayfair and outside counsel a list of protections for return to production. So that's when the whole list kind of came in. And then this is when they say several of the requested protections were already in place, like the intimacy coordinator, which was already there, a closed set, which was already there, um, pre-approval of all scenes involving physical simulated sex. Like these were all things that were already there. There was a bunch of things. Okay. Um, then it says other requested protections implicated Lively's own conduct. So Lively requested that there was to be no spontaneous improvising of any scenes, including physical touching, simulated sex, or nudity. But, and there's a video of it in a little bit, on May 19th, Lively also oversaw a scene where she kissed Justin Baldoni's character in every take, although there was no kiss in the script. So she's improvising her own kissing where there was no kisses in the script. Video footage also shows Lively explaining to a group of male crew members why her boots are so sexy because they're just bone hitting wood. Excuse me? Excuse me? What? She also comments on the physical appearance of other actors in connection with the project, both before and after issuing those demands. Do you guys remember the nose comment? When discussing the marketing of the film in May 2024, she wrote to a younger male cast member, and that's redacted. We have no idea what the hell that said. What did she write to a younger male cast member? I'm dying to know. She requested there be no physical touching, including hugging her on-set personnel and her employees, but she herself had initiated hugs with Baldoni, as had several members of her staff. More broadly, all staff members had engaged in large blank. A producer on the film observed that blank. So I don't know. Video footage shows Baldoni hugging male members of the cast and crew as well. Lively requested that there were to be no discussions of personal experiences with sex or nudity. Lively had previously volunteered to Baldoni details of her personal sex life. So she's a walking goddamn contradiction, you guys. Lively's list also included several items that were wholly unrelated to her sex, gender, or physical appearance, including demands that Baldoni not speak to her dead father, mention his own religious beliefs or ask for hers, or have private multi-hour meetings in Lively's trailer with Mr. Baldoni crying, as well as a demand that Lively receive notice of COVID exposures on set. And the defendants are pressured to accept her demands. They had no choice. Okay. I'm going to go through this. This is kind of So on January 4th, they had this meeting at the house. And this is when Lively read a longer list of demands off of her phone. She couldn't have even printed it. And this is when she talked about the birth video and all of these other things. Although the attendees were stunned by the nature of the meeting because Ryan Reynolds was attacking him basically verbally, they made efforts to assuage Lively's anger, although neither Heath nor Baldoni admitted any wrongdoing. Sarowitz wasn't present at that meeting. He doesn't recall exactly when he learned about the meeting. But that was when Justin Baldoni basically was like, oh my God, I got verbally just ambushed by Ryan Reynolds. After making her protections demands, you guys, Lively revised several scenes to be more sexually charged. Make that make sense. She was like, no. We cannot be more sexual. And then she comes back and she's like, I want it to be more sexual. What is her fucking problem? The second phase of filming, including all of Lively's intimate scenes, proceeded without incident. So they completely filmed the rest of the movie, and then it was completely without incident. And she exercises near total control over the second half of production. And then she uses the influence of her famous friends to take over the film entirely. She said, of course, that she wouldn't promote the film until she was permitted to participate in the edit. She talks about that they were disparaging Baldoni among their Hollywood crowd. She and Ryan, of course. And they, this is when they pulled Baldoni off the poster and they started talking about him at the parties with the agency. They unfollowed him on Instagram. They were attacking him and calling him a sexual predator. and they were doing the promos, book bonanza. We've talked about this ad nauseum. They weren't allowed to be on the red carpet. They sent him to the basement. And then it goes into, of course, the smear campaign or the quote unquote smear campaign. And this is when they're saying that they hired the PR team. And I'm not going to get into the rest of that part of the document because I seriously don't know if I have the time. But what I want to do, and maybe I'll do it tomorrow if I have the time. But what I want to do is I want to go to some of the footage and the text messages here that I found to be just so freaking crazy and heartbreaking. I just want to make sure that's not okay. So, it's pretty insane. What do you guys think? First of all, I want to know what you guys think about all of that. And if you guys are still with me and if you're alive and if you guys are just finding that to be just the most sad thing you have ever freaking seen. Okay. What I'm going to do here for this part is I'm going to pull up some of the Instagram posts about it. Let me look at your guys' comments. Okay. There you go. They're obviously the bullies also because they've been trying to silence the other side, and that's exactly what bullies do, in my honest opinion. I completely agree. Kate says this is giving abuse of power issues. There's absolutely no question about that. Blake is a hypocrite. She's busted, boiling mad of the lives that she's ruined. My heart really hurts for Justin. Deborah says that is so horrible how she was treated. Only a twisted person would do this, Blake. So I am so interested from you guys. I didn't realize that I didn't have comments on the screen this entire time. What I don't understand is how she ever thought she was going to win this shit. But while we're waiting to kind of see what happens with the rest of it, I want you guys to watch a couple of the pieces of footage that have come out from this entire thing. And it's pretty crazy. Okay. So this is one of the scenes. This is from It Ends with Lawsuits. It says Blake Lively has accused Justin Baldoni of unwanted improvised kissing. But in this new scene, there's a video. It's an outtake that Blake Lively has not put into her original cut. Into the cut of the movie that she ended up editing. And it's an outtake of basically she's returning Justin Baldoni. I'm sorry, she's returning Ryle's phone. Ryle. She's returning Ryle's phone. He's a doctor in the hospital. And she's giving it to him. And she goes up to him and she kisses him. And I want you to know this kiss was not scripted. So this is very, very important for you guys to see because it's not scripted and she still did it. So check this out.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
Wait, what are you?
No, I just.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, you forgot this.
Wait, what?
Bye.
No, babe, this isn't mine.
I know. I happen to love you too.
All right, cut.
That's great. That's great.
I find it fascinating because he pulls out of that scene mentally, emotionally, physically in 2 seconds. He's an actor. He cuts right out. He's not like, oh, hi, babe. Just kiss me. You can feel it. He's like, okay. I don't know when they filmed this, if they filmed this after or before, but I have a feeling this is after. He looks tired. He didn't like her. Okay? He doesn't like her. She is bad news for this guy. I don't know what kind of game she was playing. No, I don't know if this is the whole scene. It says Justin motions that Blake has something stuck in her teeth. He asks crew to get a toothpick for her. Could he have been a bit more discreet? Sure, was she embarrassed? I would be, but this does not equate to sexual harassment. This video only proves Blake's lawsuit was all about hurt feelings and retaliation. This is interesting. So this is when I haven't seen this entire scene yet, but this is when they were at that bar, the same scene where she called him sexy, where he said sexy to her. And maybe he did embarrass her. And maybe this did come down to the fact that she was like, why is he making me feel small for the first time ever? Because no one has ever made me feel small. Let's watch it.
Somebody locked it up.
Toothpick, please. Viv, do you have a toothpick?
Yeah, right here.
Thank you. All right, we should go.
Interesting. Interesting. So then there's also, I'm going to show you here. Hold on. Now I want to show you Elsie. Okay, this is Elsie with the sexy line when she's sitting on the floor and says sexy to every single person on the set.
Chair right there. I'm just getting closest distance. I know it seems so ridiculous. I don't think it's not. The reason they're so sexy is because it's just that you can put like Cinderella, but there's no button. So if your phone is hitting wood, it is. It's actually really cool. And I did it before.
So if you're seeing this and you're wondering what are you looking at, you're looking at one Blake Lively who has gathered a bunch of men, a bunch of crew, and explaining to them why her shoe is sexy, how exactly it's sexy, and how it's hurting her foot. And so she's sitting on the floor and somebody needs to go get her a chair. You're wondering why they put her in shoes that hurt her feet enough that she has to be on the floor? She actually was the costume designer. She took over the job. She took over the budget, and then she brought in things from her own closet and then paid herself for it. Like she made the movie pay her for things that were already in her closet. Yeah, she's a little scammer on top of everything. So that's your answer to that. And why she's explaining to grown men why her shoe is sexy, well, you're going to have to ask her. You're probably also wondering how this is relevant. Why? Well, it's relevant because Blake is suing a man, partly because she says said man called her sexy or called her outfit sexy. Yet this is her describing a fucking shoe as sexy because of how it's cut. She literally describes words on a page as sexy. I want the words to sparkle. I want it to be sexy. I want the character to look sexy.
Chair right there.
Which is just absolutely insane. If you look at her, and Billy Bush nails it here. He says, they're not looking at your shoes, nor do they think they're sexy. The top you're wearing may be of interest to that nice lighting guy. Her tits are pouring out of her damn shirt. Okay? I'm sorry, but like if I showed that video to Lance, he'd be like, I'm sorry, she's wearing shoes? Like I didn't even see shoes. I didn't see shoes. All I saw was boobs. And she's like, my shoes are so sexy. My shoes are so sexy. Not 5 seconds later, Justin Baldoni looks at her in a big full-on onesie that's bigger than my sweatshirt times 100. And he's like, it looks sexy. And she's like, harassment. You're a harasser. Make it make sense. Meanwhile, her husband, her actual literal in real life husband, is going on sets and saying and doing the most egregious, disgusting things to every single person he comes in contact with. Make it make sense. Is there any sense to be made? None of it. But what really broke my heart this morning was, of course, the text messages. And we've seen a semblance of this before, but it was the text messages from Justin to his friends. And this truly broke my heart. So in January, when he had this meeting with Ryan Reynolds and Jamie Heath, and I think it was just Ryan, Jamie, and Alex Sachs, Todd Black. These are producers of the film. Maybe someone from Sony, and Ryan and Blake, and God knows who else from their celebrity circle in Tribeca at their multi-million-dollar penthouse, because of course they're in the position of power and Justin is not. And he's going there to basically grovel because all he has to do is get this goddamn film finished, because that's his job, his one job, and that's get this film into the editing bay so that he gets his job done, because he didn't give a shit about anything else except to deliver It Ends With Us to the audiences. And he was between a rock and the hard place. It's like literally a hostage negotiation situation. I'm not joking. I truly feel like he was being held hostage here. He went over to the meeting, and then, of course, it didn't go well because he got berated and verbally attacked by Ryan Reynolds. So his friend, his circle of friends, he's in a group chat with his boys, and Rainn Wilson of The Office, his good friend, host of Soul Pancake, I believe that's the name of the podcast, says, "Any update, brothers?" And Justin says, "Sorry for not giving an update. Last night was one of the hardest nights of my life. It's hard to describe what happened exactly. The only way to describe it was an ambush. I had no words. I couldn't formulate sentences. My brain was trying to defend itself when they were needing me to apologize for all of the ways I fucked up and made her feel unsafe. Ryan was talking to me like a 5-year-old and scolding me. They essentially said that Jamie and I are not who we claim to be, and that for us to have a podcast is unsafe because it makes people feel like we are safe. I was read from a phone. Remember, Blake was read from a phone of all of the things that I did, while many of them were based in actual situations. The events were wrong and things. Oh, no, he's saying, while many of them were based in actual situations, the events were wrong and things were taken completely out of context. The word creepy and abuse were used in reference to me and my behavior. And I was then given the words of what to say and had to apologize, which I was unable to do because my brain was trying to comprehend what was happening. I was in shock and basically went into feeling like I was a 7-year-old again when I got home last night. I was emotionally paralyzed. It was as bad as it sounds. Jamie did a beautiful job apologizing. I did not have the words. I was embarrassed for myself as it happened in front of the team, but I was embarrassed that I was unable to even formulate the correct words to apologize and honestly just feel like a bad person. It's hard to feel so much of what they believe about me is false because they are so convinced that it's real. Looking for nuggets of learning, which there are many, and somehow they showed up today. Thanks to Jamie and my wife as we are currently shooting. I love you all. Sorry for my dictation grammar. I'm in between shots. Someone, a redacted name, says, Justin, you were ambushed. You reacted the only way you could. Hold on to your beliefs and keep moving forward. God is all glorious and is with you. Our prayer is for strength and protection. Continue. We are with you in spirit and love you with all of our hearts. Rainn Wilson says, oh my God, I can't believe it. You were set up and ambushed and personally attacked. I'm stunned. I completely relate to you being stunned like a deer in the headlights. Probably better that you didn't immediately just start apologizing. So grateful that Jamie is your partner and can step in diplomatically as needed. And someone else says, I love you all. I will keep praying for you. Congrats on getting them back to film, even though you feel like you have been through war. God answers all of our prayers, just not in ways that are obvious at the time. You have many friends who love you and who are connected to your soul. And Travis Van Winkle, who's also an actor, says, love you too so much. You're both freaking warriors. I want just for a quick moment to remind you guys that we're not missing anything. For a while here, I was thinking we were missing something. I kept waiting I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. I'm not lying to you. This entire time I kept saying there's got to be something. There has got to be something that has not come out yet. There's got to be the big smoking gun. Like I truly thought something's got to pop. Something's got to be released. Blake has something that we haven't seen because there's no way that they've done all of this for that, for the sexy comment, for the showing of the video. Like, there's no way she went this far for that. You guys, we have seen too much and we still haven't seen it. There is absolutely no smoking gun. She has not shown any evidence of anything. We have seen every page of every day. We have seen text messages of everything. We have seen emails of everything. If there was some huge incident of sexual harassment that we are missing, then Blake has yet to show it. And that's not something that happens before trial. She's not waiting for the last day of the trial to be like, and now I'm going to tell you about the real sexual harassment. It already would have come out. It's not coming out. She doesn't have it because it didn't happen. This man was falsely accused of true sexual harassment. She was feeling uncomfortable on a set, and I will give her that. I will give her that because we can't dictate whether or not someone feels uncomfortable. If she is uncomfortable, she's allowed that. She's validated in her feeling uncomfortable. I believe that. I think everyone has their markers of where they feel comfortable. Okay? Something that makes you feel comfortable may not make me feel comfortable, etc. Right? We all have our levels. I truly believe that she is validated in feeling uncomfortable on set. But to take an uncomfortable set where she's just feeling a little weird, where she feels maybe the director and the producers are just a little maybe amateur, just a little awkward, or just say a little too much, or just get a little too close or whatever, and turn it into literally decimating and ruining an entire man's life, not only one, but multiple men's lives and women's now, is cruel and actually punishable. She should be punished. She has ruined lives. And she has taken back so many women, and every single woman, all of these Taylor Lorenzes and these misogyny slop cat women's, I don't remember all their names. I try to block them all from my faces, who are out there saying like, you guys are misogynist, and all these more with MJs and the Leslie Dobsons of the world look like idiots. True, entire idiots. Because you're defending someone who has truly ruined so many women's cases from today on. Because now I don't trust women who go after men on sets anymore. Now I don't trust it. If someone says, my director sexually harassed me, I'm going to be like, show me proof. Show me proof. It's the boy who cried wolf now. It sucks. It truly sucks. I'm so disgusted by her for calling her sexy in a wardrobe on set in front of 40 people. This is what, please. People are dying, Kim. And Leslie Dobson. Let me say a little word about Leslie fucking Dobson. If you don't know who she is, this doctor of forensic psychology, I put quotes for anyone listening to the audio, has been going on and on and on for months and months and months and smearing Justin Baldoni and Brian Friedman, calling them names, vile names, saying that Justin Baldoni has not only sexually harassed Blake, but has sexually assaulted Blake and multiple other women, not just on this film, but for years and years and years, dating back to college with zero certifiable proof. But to make matters worse, she is in my DMs from, I don't know exactly what the date was, but I remember I can pull up the DMs because I have them all screenshot. She's in my DMs saying that she has HR complaints from Sony that she received from her contact at Sony. And she gave them to me saying, these will come out in Blake's amended complaint. Multiple women sent out HR complaints, and she has said that she's part of the lawsuit. that she's been deposed. She's been part of the deposition. She says she's worked for Brian Friedman. She has inserted herself in this case, and she has smeared the shit of Justin Baldoni. This is someone that calls herself a doctor. She's 300,000 followers on social media. I believe that Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have enacted a smear campaign against Justin Baldoni. I believe that Justin Baldoni is literally the victim of a smear campaign by Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Sloan, and Blake Lively. And I think that they have enacted, I think they've hired, I don't know how, I don't know if it's financial, I don't know, but I think that they have hired multiple people, whether it is by financial payment, by what, but I think there's a few people that are part of that, and they are going all in on it. And I don't understand where in the world Leslie Dobson, I'm just calling her out. I don't care where she got those. She said she got it from her contact at Sony. Who at Sony is sending Leslie Dobson fake HR complaints? I want to know. That she sent it to me, a content creator who she knew was going to release those for thousands and thousands and thousands of people to smear Justin Baldoni. Like, that's wild to me. I hope Brian Friedman goes after people like that for Justin. Like, why can't we get into those text messages? It's really interesting. I have a 1:00 appointment, so I do have to jump here. But I will go into this more if I can tomorrow. I still am like on the fence if I can do a show tomorrow because I'm 2 days out from the big event. But you guys, thank you so much for being here. I will get more into this. This is really, really wild. And I feel like we're just at the precipice. I think Blake and Ryan truly, in my opinion, are dangerous and evil. And this is like truly disgusting what they did here. Disgusting. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for subscribing and liking the show and telling your friends and everything. 1,000 people here. Make sure you like it on your way out. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. Talk to you later. Bye.